What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over why I don't like landing at the black markets and why I really do not think it's worth the risk. As always, if you guys do find this video to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and comment down below if you like landing at these black markets or if you would rather land somewhere else. So the main reason why a lot of people would want to go for this, and there are a lot of players who really enjoy landing at the black markets and enjoy this playstyle, is going to be that if you have the legendary outlaw key card, if you've done all of the challenges, when you open up the chest in the bottom of the black market, you'll get a dill bit along with a legendary weapon that you can use to purchase one of the mythic or exotic weapons in the black market. And then you can get that, very early on in the game, have that guaranteed, and then also not have to worry about someone else getting it before you because you're the first one there. And that sounds great and all. However, I think there is a few problems with this, and it's a very high variance, high risk playstyle. And I don't even feel like the reward is really that big of a deal, but that is really just going to come down to preference and how you view those items. The main reason why this is going to be like such high variance is because there's oftentimes going to be several other players landing here. And with several other players landing here, not only are things going to get pretty chaotic, but how good or bad your drop is can pretty much just make or break the game or really determine the outcome of the game entirely. When you land at a regular POI and you're trying to land at one building, but maybe someone has a better drop for it than you can kind of veer off and go elsewhere. But if someone has a slightly better drop than you for this black market, that's probably just going to be the end of your game. And then even at a regular POI, if you didn't want to land somewhere else, you could still land at the same building as that player who has a better drop than you and get like some amount of loot in that building, right? But with these black markets, there is very little loot there. And even if you are the person with the best drop and you're the first person to hit the ground, someone else might have a better drop than you for one piece of loot. And when you're landing at this spot, it can be hard to know exactly where you should land because each of the black markets has like a few pieces of floor loot like on the outside before you actually go down underneath. And if you are landing here, I think it would be best to get one of those pieces of loot, eliminate the other players, and then, go proceed from there and get your mythic weapon and everything. But when there's, let's just say 3 floor loot spots at the black market and you just have to try to have the best drop for one of them, maybe you get minis and the other guy gets a gun and then you just lost, And with there being such few loot spots here, there's oftentimes not going to be much ammo either. So if you have several people landing here, you might not have enough ammo to actually eliminate everybody. And then you get into the awkward situations where people are just like buying guns and then fighting that way. If you don't get a floor loot gun off the rip and somebody else does, things are probably going to be very bad for you because when you go to purchase a weapon off the wall in the black market, or you go to open that door to get into the second section, there's a bit of delay on opening that. So if you don't get the one gun that's there, you probably are just going to lose to the person who does, provided they don't run out of ammo eliminating other players. So it's just like 1, a gamble to get to that gun, and then 2, a gamble of like whether or not that weapon, if one spawns, will be good enough to eliminate the other players in time. So there's just a lot of risk associated with this and a lot of ways that it can go wrong for you. Even if you do have the best drop, like I said, they might just have a slightly better drop than you for a piece of loot. And I think getting that loot is actually more important than just being the first one to get to the door because of the delay it takes to open it. It's not like you're just going to open the door and get them like chest and buy a mythic before someone gets to you with a gun if that person is actually paying attention. So that's just basically what it comes down to. I think often hotly contested, not very much loot here. And that makes a situation where it is very, very high variance. And so there's going to be games where it goes well for you. There's going to be games where it goes bad for you. It's just kind of very coin flippy. And if you're not good at landing, it's probably very rarely ever going to go well for you. And then when you get into playing team game modes, it gets even more rough because like, let's say you're playing duos and 3 duos land here. That is a lot of people. And that's not even to take into the fact that a lot of times players will land on the outside and then just play to third party you. And then that can also be another, problem situation. Even if you do have, a good landing, you clear it, you eliminate the other players, you buy your mythic weapon. Now you have that mythic weapon. You can buy other weapons off the wall and maybe get a decent loadout going, but depending on which black market you land at, this can also be a struggle. The one outside Crime City, for example, I know a lot of players like to land at because they want to get that mythic shockwave launcher. But the other loot in there is typically not very good. I feel like I always get like pump and dump shotguns and auto shotguns. I very rare, and then like the collateral damage AR and sticky launchers. I feel like I very rarely see like a hollow twister or a burst in there. And then the pump can be there sometimes. But either way, it's like you're getting worse regular weapons just to guarantee that one mythic. And that one mythic can be good, but when you don't have a lot of ammo for it and you don't have a lot of other weapons to fight with, you might end up just losing that mythic to the first person that you end up fighting who landed at an actual POI and got a more, you know, variety of loot and didn't have to spend like 3,000 gold just to get a decent loadout going. So again, the risk I don't think is worth the reward. And then even if you do, it does work out for you. You get that mythic, you spend a lot of gold to get the other weapons. I still think that like you're not quite ready to fight yet, in the same way that somebody who landed at a POI will often be ready to fight. Unless you just get lucky and get like a lot of big ammo boxes down there or something, that can definitely help. I know a lot of players are struggling to get ammo as is this season, and if you're just landing on the drum gun, getting the drum gun right away, and you don't have any other extra AR ammo, is that drum gun really that worthwhile to you? And that kind of brings me to my final point of this, is that like, I enjoy having the mythics. I love the drum gun. I think it's incredible. Anytime I have the option to use it, I probably am going to. But I don't think it's so overpowered that I can't play the game without it, or that I need it to play the game. You know what I mean? I would like to have it. If somebody else gets it, I rarely have a hard time getting it off of them. Most of the games I play, I'm not the person who ends up buying it from the case because somebody else lands here. I end up fighting them and taking it from them. And so I think the mythics are beatable. And I would rather have less variance in the earlier game and get like a more consistent start to the match, get my loot going, and then once I start pushing for kills, you know, take out the people who have those mythics and get it off them. That is how I prefer to play the game. But if you like landing at the black markets, you know, so be it. I just wanted to explain why I don't like playing that way, because I've been asked about it a bunch, like why I don't like landing there or why I don't land there when I'm streaming. And that's the reason. I just think it's incredibly high variance, and the risk isn't worth the reward. I'd rather play a bit more normal, get the mythics later on, and then, you know, have things work out that way. I made the title of this video probably like stop landing at the black markets. That's mainly just to draw attention. If I titled the video like why I don't land at the black markets, it's not going to get as much attention. It's not as clickable. That's just kind of the nature of YouTube. If you like doing that, it definitely can work. I just think the variance is quite high and it's not the playstyle I want to have. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more. Comment down below if you like opting into this playstyle, or if you would prefer to play kind of more regularly or more normally, land at a POI, get stuff, and then go for the black market afterwards. Let me know that, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.